Hi, everybody. I have a very big announcement to make, which a lot of you probably will not see coming. Um, I thought that it was best to do this on Facebook versus writing this out. It's just a lot easier to sort of vocalize than to write it all out. And this way I can reach sort of all my friends and family and clients and customers and fans and all that stuff. Basically, everybody on Facebook can see this. So, before I get to the big announcement, I'd like to sort of explain my reasoning behind some things and sort of tell you my story of some things you may not know. So, about 10 years ago, from 2008 until 2013, I got very sick with very severe anemia, which a lot of people don't even know that. Just the people that I think are kind of my inner circle or people that I've told since then. But I got very sick very quickly, lost 18 pounds in 3 weeks, continued to lose weight, had internal bleeding, external bleeding, lost a lot of red blood cells. At the time that I went into the hospital in 2008, I had a blood count of 4.5, which for an adult male of my age, which should have been like 17 to 19 at the time. And 4.5 I was coming in at. They actually had to take my blood a second time because they thought that that the read was wrong, like the test was wrong. Because they then told me that at 5, most people are coming in flatlining and aren't even conscious. And here I had worked all day, drove myself there, was sitting upright, talking to them. And when they came back in, I was told I had very severe anemia, was at high risk of heart attack, stroke, or blood clots. And was admitted to the hospital, was given 6 transfusions of blood that night, and was told I could not do my teardown of my wedding that I had that night at the Art Museum in Akron. And spent the next 9 days in the ICU. So soon after that, when I got out of the hospital, I really wanted to go kind of a holistic route and try to heal myself that way versus, I was told I didn't need surgery, but I was told that I could just avoid nuts and seeds and acidic foods. And when I asked what were acidic foods exactly, was there a list I could follow? I was told by the surgeons that there was none. So that kind of made me question whether there really was one or not. So I started looking into it, found out there was referred by a good friend to Dr. Keith Jordan up in Lakewood, who is brilliant and saved my life, and I credit him with that. Thank you, Keith, for saving me from all that horribleness. Anyway, I worked with him over the next 5 years, trying to heal my body through food and nutrition and supplements, things like that, as well as just learning a whole different way to live. At the time that I was sick, I was I never did drugs or alcohol or anything bad really. I just worked a lot. I worked way too much, and I focused way too much on the businesses, not enough on myself or my health, or when I ate, or I'd go entire days during installations for weddings without ever eating, and then I'd come home and I'd be exhausted, and my adrenaline will have spiked and crashed and all this other stuff during the day, and just didn't feel well all the time. I didn't feel balanced. I felt well, like I was healthy, but I didn't feel balanced. And this very small tear had happened up in my sigmoid colon, which is up here, and which slowly over time got worse and worse, and eventually my body could no longer compensate for the bleeding, and I began to get dizzy really often, and it was hard for me to walk across a room. Like I said, for the next 3 weeks, I lost about 18 pounds. I started looking awful. I had my entire staff, my friends, my partner, everybody was telling me, you need to go get looked at. And I was like, no, I probably just have some weird super flu or something like that. I'll be fine. And eventually, right around Labor Day, I had events on Saturday, or Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And on Sunday, I finished a wedding at the Art Museum on day before Labor Day on 2008, and went to the hospital and went to the ER, and that's when I found out sort of what was wrong. Anyway, Keith taught me how to live a whole different way with a lot more balance, and how to not micromanage my staff, and how to give myself time. And even through all the bad stuff that was going on, my dog's walking in. He really helped me to just figure out how to sort of let go. And I was a really hard case. I mean, I did not want to let go of control. I wanted to load every van and make every arrangement and do all this stuff. And over time, I learned that that just was not possible. And eventually my body just would not let me do it anymore. So eventually I got better and was healed. And it was around 2013. Mind you, the year in 2008 when I was first getting sick, because it's the same year I started to be seated. So I was very functional. All my weddings, and all of you out there who had a wedding or an event or anything that I did between 2008 and 2013, you all know that your events came off perfectly and everything was fine, and I was very functional somehow. I don't know how, because I think just, God kept me alive, and Keith kept me alive, and I kept me alive by doing the work that I was told to do, and made sure that I really took to heart everything that he told me to do. And it took a while to learn, and it took a while to get good at it, but I did it. And ever since then I came out of the other end of it. And in 2013, beginning of 2013, in March, I started feeling a lot better. And by May, red blood cells take 3 months to regenerate. So by May, I was actually starting to feel a little more myself and had energy again. Oh, and by the way, in 2012, at the end of 12, I had, actually, no, yeah, the end of 12 or end of 13, I don't even remember anymore. But I went back into ICU again, and this time my blood count was at 3.8. So I was really in bad shape. And I should also mention that during that period, no muscle, my body was gone. I would go to bed with my feet swelling like it does before you have a heart attack, which I found out later. So sometimes I would go to bed not knowing if I would wake up again in the morning. I couldn't walk up staircases. I would be, I could, but I had to do it very, very slowly. Otherwise, I would hear my heart beating in my ears, heart beating in my chest. I just had so little blood that my heart was pushing very, very hard to try to get blood in through my system and oxygenated. So I was always cold. The anemia gives you insomnia, so I wasn't sleeping well on top of being tired. So I could fall asleep at the drop of a hat if I allowed myself to. But I, of course, had to keep going and keep moving because I had businesses to run. And there was a lot of other things. I was always cold. Just name it. It was bad. Irritable. It makes you irritable and snap at people. And my poor staff during that period, I was not myself. And life was just really rough. Everything ached. Everything hurt. Body was just bad. Anyway, so after kind of losing, so much weight and feeling so horrible for 5 years, just not being able to do things I wanted to do or carry things I wanted to carry, and I looked awful, and my skin was crazy color because when your body sheds red blood cells, there's these things called bilirubins, which are the leftover cell walls, and that causes your skin to kind of turn like a yellowish cast. On top of the weird grayish, greenish cast I had. And I'm still amazed that a lot of people don't even know I had anemia, because I think I just still was able to keep functioning. And I really feel like I was kept here for a purpose, because by all rights, I really should have died. Many different times I really should have died. So I'm very lucky to be here. And ever since then, I've felt like there's some bigger purpose that I need to have. And I was really trying to figure that out in the back of my head for a while. It didn't go to the forefront of my brain until about the last year and a half or so. So trying to tell this all in chronological order, and I'm sorry I'm so long-winded. I know we're almost 10 minutes in already, but hopefully you're not bored out of your mind. Anyway, so I came out of that, and that's when I really decided, for 20 years I wanted to work with a personal trainer. So I started doing that, started training 2 days a week and eventually 3 days a week, and worked my way up to 5 to 6 days a week. Surrounded by amazing trainers at Impulse Training down in Canton. And that really changed a lot of my perspective. And I was for the first time in my life that I actually was doing something for myself in the beginning of the day before I worked. And I would just work late. I would do whatever I had to do. I'd work on weekends and my days off and whatever I had to do. But I got in those workouts every day. And on top of that, through what Dr. Keith taught me, and then through what the nutritionist, two nutritionists I've worked with and dietitians that have taught me, I learned how to have a lot more discipline with my meal prepping and the foods that I eat, and kind of everything is all based around being balanced and having balance that is maintainable and sustainable in my life. So even when I'm crazy busy working on the Football Hall of Fame, or a crazy wedding week or whatever it is, I have my coolers with me. I eat. I still work out, even if it's late or early or whatever I have to do, and I just make stuff happen. And what I learned was that discipline really helps you gain a lot of freedom in your life. You get freedom from imbalance, and you get freedom from unhappiness and unsustainable things that you do, and it opens your eyes to a lot of things that may be wrong in your life and how you can make them better. So along with that, training and food became very, very important, and exercise. And also I found that at that time, a few years ago, it was 18 years in business. Like now I'm almost at 22 years in business. I found that I really enjoyed helping other business owners to further their lives and their businesses. And in one night at a networking event, I had no less than 6 people come up and tell me that I had influenced their life to go and quit their job and start their own job, or they had done this already 3 years ago, or whatever happened. And it was really cool because I really realized how exciting that was and how cool that was. And it was like, oh my God, I affected somebody's entire life. And as wonderful it is to do weddings, and believe me, I enjoy doing weddings and events, it's more momentary. It's more like, here's a great moment in time to remember forever. But when you actually change someone's life and change the trajectory of where they're going, that's like really hugely powerful, and I don't take it lightly. It's really a pretty cool thing. And that was when I first started waking up, and I noticed a lot of people just tend to draw to me to how they either see how I live and what I do and want to learn how to do it, or just random people at like Home Goods in the grocery store will come up to me and start asking me questions about things, and next thing I know, I'm helping them change things about their life. So that sort of led to, I know some of you have probably seen the my life coaching page, which came up on, which I created on Instagram several months ago, and I finally got the Facebook page done, and the website is finally done after months and months of working on it. And that's really become a really big passion of mine to do that. So in order for me to do that, I really have kind of restructured my companies. Here comes the announcement. I am actually, as of this coming week, I'm going to be, I don't want to say shutting down, because it's not like I'm going out of business, because I'm not. But I will be sort of shutting down the floral production piece of my business, which I know is what I'm known for and all that. But it takes up tons and tons of my time. It's a lot of maintenance and a lot of busy work that comes with that, and I really want to focus more on event planning and life coaching. So that is kind of the direction I'm going now. So as of this week, I'm not going to be taking floral delivery orders, other than honoring, of course, the ones that are already booked. I'll, of course, honor all the weddings I have booked and the events I have booked. We'll still continue event planning, for sure. Like, that's going to become a bigger focus, because I really love orchestrating entire events and the whole big part. I'll still help design the events. I just won't be personally, physically poking the flowers and placing them on the tables and all that. I'm going to have a floral company do that the same way that I have a tent company build a tent, or an air conditioning company bring in the HVAC for a large event. And I'm going to really focus on the big picture a lot more. And I kind of like the whole idea of the way planning and coaching kind of fit together, because very they're both very much about helping people and pulling together a lot of different things where you can sort of create one wonderful outcome at the end of it. And I really love that part. So we're going to focus a lot more on that at this point. So trying to think what else I can tell you. I think that's about it, actually. So after 22 years, I'm gonna sort of close that piece down. I'll still do some stuff here and there, I think, for a little bit, but for the most part, that's the part I'm not gonna be doing anymore. And of course, Be Seated will still stay open and work, running, and just we won't be doing the everyday flower thing. And please make sure to check out my life coaching page. It's really fun. It's cool. I've got it's Life Coach Neil Leeson on Facebook and Instagram. The Instagram page has some IGTV videos on there. There's a couple on there now. I'm going to be doing some more once I have some more time. Actually, by the time once I stop doing the flowers every day, I'm going to be able to actually start producing a lot more content for coaching. And the new website is www.lifecoachneilleeson.com. So please check that out. Would love, if anyone needs any help, let me know. I'm sort of concentrating on a lot of different areas. So some life coaches only teach certain people of a certain age to do a certain thing. I'm really more taking it from a holistic approach. So it's exercise and diet, and business can come into it. It's really a la carte, kind of however much you need. So we can bring your life to a space of balance by sort of looking at all the different areas of your life, or at least the ones you want to look at. Some of the people I'm coaching, I'm just coaching them on business, like helping them identify where they're not as efficient or making enough money, or people that want to start up a business, or market themselves better, or whatever. I've got all this experience. I've got 22 years with Decor Floral, and 10 years actually we just hit 10 years with Be Seated. So I've got a lot of that kind of experience to go, plus just the life experience of the things that I've been through. I can bring all that in, and I really walk the walk and talk the talk. So I really know what I'm talking about, and I'm a living example of what you can do to create some balance in your life. So it's really been fun to sort of help other people do the same. And I think that's it. So it's a whole new chapter of my life. It's about to start, and I'm super excited about it. And that's it. So, oh my God, it's almost 20 minutes. I do talk a lot. Apologize. Anyway, anyone who has any questions, please reach out. Give us a call or email, and we'll go from there. All right. Thanks, guys. Thank you for all the wonderful business over the years, everybody. I've been so grateful and so blessed to have gotten to work with all of you, and all of my my football and basketball and celebrity and all the other people I've gotten to work with. And all the destinations we've gotten to go to all over the country. It's been really cool. And now I'll be able to do that from a planning perspective. So it's still going to happen, but I'm excited to see where it can go from there. All right. Thanks a lot.